Hey guys, there's football tonight. There's football tonight!
Yeah!
Yes.
Oh! We did it. We're here.
There's football. There's football. We have something tangible to talk about instead of just projecting stupid shit. So we get to watch a football game and then go back to 2 or 3 days of projecting the rest of the shit. Yeah. That's how it goes. It's a never-ending cycle of watch a couple of games and project a bunch of dumb shit. So welcome back to the Fantasy Football Universe. I am Aaron St. Dennis. Follow me everywhere at FF Mad Scientist. Joined by Jeremy Schulman at FF_Rebel and Jesse Moeller, who has a tag but not his name. He is at JMoeller05. I don't know what's going on there. Anyways, we are here. We're here for Week 1 NFC home games. We have Steelers at Falcons, Titans at Bears, Panthers at Saints, Vikings at Giants, Broncos Seahawks, Commanders, Buccaneers, Rams, Lions, and we end it with the Monday Nighter Jets at 49ers. Are you guys ready for some football?
Yeah, as long as there won't be a quiz on what you just said later. So we'll chop it up.
Heard a lot of words. I don't know.
Everybody.
I said it and I don't remember it, so it's all right. I drift in and out. Don't take it personal. All right, we'll kick things off with the probably worst game out of the entire bunch. That would be the Pittsburgh Steelers at Atlanta Falcons QB matchup. Two veteran QBs in new spots. Russell Wilson at Kirk Cousins. Against Kirk Cousins. I guess he's at Kirk Cousins' house and they're playing in the backyard. Don't know why I said it that way. Apparently I'm a little slow on my lunch. Got too much adrenaline going for football. So I've got 2 things up. I've got on the fantasyfootballuniverse.com. I have our consensus rankings and I also have my personal rankings. As far as consensus goes, we have Kirk as our consensus 19, which is 2 above ECR of 21 on the week. And Russ, we have as QB 25, 3 spots above consensus. We are high on both these quarterbacks, gentlemen, 25 and 23. Both just mid to pretty much low end QB. I feel like Russ is a low end QB too, and I'm not expecting much better. I think Kirk is a conservative low end QB too, but I'm going to be disappointed if he's not at least a mid to high end QB2. I think I'm just being conservative to start. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I'm with you. I think with me, it's Cousins. I just want to see the injury, see how he looks, because I've been a Cousins guy my entire life. I think if he's healthy, looks how he was last year, I'll move him out significantly rankings into the Geno,
I
the
think
golf.
I lost you, Jesse. I don't know if Aaron's having the same issue.
Oh no, I'm hearing Jesse. I hear him. All
right, cool.
You're not hearing him?
We all got internet issues today, so it's my bad. Jesse, tell us what you were just telling us, and I'll shut up.
Yes. Injury with Cousins. We'll see how it looks. We'll keep it short and sweet. If he looks healthy, looks good, I'll bump him up after this week. I just want to see. And Russ is just a bad quarterback at this point who's dependent on rushing. So until that changes, Russ is going to be lower, even though he'll score points for you in fantasy.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins, I just like the weapons. I like the situation. I don't think he's going to go nuclear, but he's my QB 19 on the week. Russell Wilson, much lower, 24. Not excited to start either of these guys in one QB. Just leave them alone.
If we get through this game and it's your typical, I get it, it's new coaching, but it's your typical just rushing, grind it out, old school game where it doesn't appear that Kyle Pitts is going to be the stud we wanted. Drake London, they look like they're both just average. How long do we go before we're going to push the panic button here? Because everyone's sky high, not so much on Pitts. Pitts has gone up a few in the ranks, but people are fucking sky high on London. If he doesn't come out of the gates firing here, how long till, it's time to push the panic button on London? You guys worried?
Not in week 1, because they're playing against Surtain, one of the best corners in the NFL. That's a problem for whoever he's lined up against. So it could be a rougher day for London because of that.
Yeah, and I'm not worried. Also, just keep in mind that these things take almost a month to sort out. If Drake London has 3 bad games in a row, I'll be worried. Even 4, you got to give these guys 3 to 4 weeks to figure it out.
All right, the running backs. We have on the Steelers, Najee Harris, Jalen Warren, who I believe is going to play, and Cordell Patterson, who I didn't know still played. The Falcons have Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier, who is going to be a thorn in everyone's side for fantasy, and Jace McClellan. Our consensus has Bijan the highest, I'm sure. Bijan at 3. Scrolling. This is a ways down. Najee at 24. Jalen Warren is a little lower in our rankings, 38. I'm not sure if that's because we haven't all moved. I know my rankings are finalized because I got to go to work, but maybe not everyone else has moved him back up. I know he still has an injury tag. It looks like he's going to play.
That's what it is.
And then Tyler Algier I have at 45. So what do you guys make of the running back situation in this one?
All I need to see from Bijan is going. Okay.
Just for Jalen Warren, I think he's really just I'm hedging because of injury. I think it's going to take him a week or two to be 100%. Najee's going to get as much as he can handle. The problem is you just hope he doesn't go down with injury. On the other side, Bijan, well over Algier. He's my number 1 ranked running back this week.
Oh, my Lord. Over McCaffrey? Ooh, baby. I love it. Yeah, for Bijan, all he needs is goal line usage. Yeah, let's go. If he gets the goal line usage, like that's what was missing last year. Everything else is there. He has 17% target share. Like he was that guy. Just it'll happen. So new scheme, new system. Like Bijan could be the RB1 this year. You gotta treat him like that because it's gonna set up that way. He'll get 20+ touches. Like I'm super excited.
Yeah.
So he's our consensus RB3, which tells you if Jeremy has him at 1, the rest of us are a little bit lower on him. Like I know I have CMC, Brees. I think I even have Taylor ahead, but I'm notoriously the Taylor guy here. Moving on, we've got the wide receivers. Steelers have George Pickens. Roman Wilson is listed as playing, but he's still limited. I can't see how he plays, but I guess we'll find out. Van Jefferson, Calvin Austin. Which Miller? Scotty Miller. I was looking, I'm like, S. Miller. What S. Miller is on here? It's Scotty Miller. The Falcons have Drake London, Darnell Mooney, oh my God, this depth chart is ugly. Ray McLeod and Kadero Hodge. You don't realize why everyone's so high on Drake London, and then you read the receivers behind him, and it's like, I'd rather have the Giants receiving core than this fucking team.
Yeah, sure.
I'm not sure who the highest I assume London is our highest ranked receiver. We have him at 20, which I think there's going to be a big discrepancy. I bet a bunch of us have him at 12 and a bunch of us have him in the 20s, and that's why it balances out. And then our highest Steeler is George Pickens at 18. We actually have George Pickens higher. What do you guys think about that? Clearly, one of us is throwing it off. Maybe I'm the high guy on Pickens and the low guy on London. What's going on? What's up with that?
Listen, for me, I got Drake London at 10 this week. It is the Drake London show all year long. I'm ready for it. We've seen it. Drake London is Michael Pittman, but a better version with a more, a less athletic quarterback. Who is, going to feed him targets because, as you just mentioned, he has to. If we're talking about George Pickens, I don't really want much of that boom bust kind of nature. I think Drake London offers the opposite: high floor, high ceiling, and I think he's going to hit his ceiling this week against Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it's interesting with Pickens because without Deontay, he had a 29% target share that month last year, so he's shown the alpha elements we want. But I just hate the offense with Pittsburgh, so I'm just going to be lower on Pickens because he has to do more, similar to what London was doing in the past 3 years, right? But now that he has Cousins, he's higher. I am significantly higher on London. I think London's my wide receiver 16. I have Pickens down at wide receiver 28 this week. I just think it's going to be a weekly show with Pickens where you don't know the week that he's going to pop off or not. Even though he'll get the numbers, it's just going to be kind of rough.
Yeah.
And I figured out what the issue is. The rankings are because I have Pickens at 18 and London at 20. For some reason, our consensus rankings aren't being pulled correctly off of Fantasy Pros. Maybe SC doesn't have his week 1 in. So what you're seeing on the consensus right now is my rankings. So I'm the one lower on them. I have it at 18 and 20, not you guys. So I'm going to have to fix that after the show. Excuse me. Moving on here to the tight ends, we have on the Steelers, Pat Freiermuth, Darnell Washington, Connor Hayward, and on the Falcons, Kyle Pitts and Charlie Warner. I have Freiermuth lower. I'm sure Pitts is 7 for me. Freiermuth is 14, and I think that might be generous. What do you guys have?
We have a problem figuring out who's going to talk first, but I'll go ahead and say that.
I get the sense you guys are really getting a delay here, right?
No, not at all. I have Pitt 7th. I have Pat Freiermuth 12th this week, so I think you're dead on with 7 and 14. Pitt's just the matchup is going to be interesting, and I'm hedging and obviously assuming Drake London goes off this week. With Pat Freiermuth, he's just a necessity, but I don't want to really rank him higher than a back and tight end one.
Yeah, that's the struggle, right? Like, Pitts is going to be involved in the offense. He's dealing with the injury, but all signs point to him being fine this week. So it's really hard to push Pitts lower than like top 8 each week just because of his role and usage. Freiermuth, I am very worried for the Arthur Smith, like mixing and matching, not running all the routes. So he's my tight end 14, but I'm a little terrified of Freiermuth, to tell you the truth. I just don't know how his roles are going to shake out. I think he's a good player, but it's just fine. With that said, I'm going to switch on Wi-Fi to try and fix this. So I will be back in a second.
All right. Let's switch to the next game. This is maybe less exciting. The Tennessee Titans and Chicago Bears. We have, let me try and find this game here. Will Levis versus Caleb Williams. That's an interesting matchup. It could be a real shootout, or it could be two quarterbacks that struggle to start here. Will Levis always seems to be inconsistent. Caleb Williams, we don't know what to expect. I obviously have Williams higher. He is at 15. I have Will Levis at 23. What are your thoughts, Jeremy? Is Jesse back or Jesse's moving? He's moving. He's alive
somewhere.
I thought we were going to weekend at Bernie's him.
Well, you might have to. You might have to.
Look, as far as Caleb Williams, I think I'm a little too high on him. I have to revisit this. I have him at 11 at the moment. I might want to push Trevor and Tua over him only because that Tennessee defense, I want to see it first, but they added a lot of good players to that defense. I don't know if it's all going to come together. They've struggled to put it together in the past, but it's a new coaching staff, a new regime, even though it's offensive minded. So we'll have to see what happens, but they have better pieces now. So we'll see. But Will Levis, I have down at 27. I'm probably going to have to move him up just because of the rushing upside. And that Chicago defense, I think, is getting better, but not phenomenal. Right now, they're 11 and 27, but we'll see.
Yeah.
How about you, Bernie? What do you got?
Bernie doesn't know what he's doing over here. He's the ghost of himself. Interestingly enough, the rookie quarterback is top. I can't remember the last time we've seen a rookie quarterback with our team is top 6 in projected points. Like in week 1, that's Caleb Williams, that offense. So the market is very high on Caleb Williams. I'm at QB 14. And then Will Levis, he's QB 25, but like I could move him up to the Justin Herbert range, QB 20. I need to see the offense a little bit before I fully buy in. So that's where I'm out to too.
Yeah.
All right. The running backs are interesting. It's kind of the dead zone special here. Titans, we've got Tony Pollard, Tyjae Spears, and a Williams. James Williams, I didn't know that was a real player. That's who's third on their depth chart, and he's listed as being a free agent. Okay, over to the Bears, where we have DeAndre Swift, Khalil Herbert, Roschon Johnson, and Travis Homer. I am terrified to think of who my highest ranked in this is. I would assume it's Swift by default. Who do you guys have the highest ranked? I'm looking at it. It's Swift at 28. And then it's Spears next, but good God, this one's not pretty. If you have a, it's not. It's Swift at 28 and Pollard at 29. What do you guys have? Jeremy, what do you guys have?
Yeah, I got Pollard a little bit further down at 36. Swift for me is, I don't even know, 38. So Tajay is my high guy at 29. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid served by Jesse most of the time this offseason, the Tajay Kool-Aid. I'm ready to go. They're going to need somebody to take over this backfield, and they're going to need to utilize both of these backs a ton, especially with DeAndre Hopkins still healing up. we'll see how much he plays in week 1. So for me, I'm Team Tajee, but Pollard's right there. And then I got who were we even talking about? Swift. Yeah, Swift at 38, and then who cares otherwise?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think this is the week if you drafted Swift, you got to play him this week. Like, you can't not bench. Like, you have to play him. Everything is lining up, and we'll get the usage and no. So he's RB24. I have Tajee at RB27, and then Pollard's RB36 because I expect Tennessee to have to pass a lot in this game, and that's going to feature Tajee. So that's why I'm sitting higher on him. And, I just think he's a better back, so I'm going to keep rolling with that.
I'm not going to lie. This is one of the first games where there are 3 running backs at the top here. And if you listed those 3 in any order, I can't really argue, because if you told me it was Swift, then the two Titans, then I personally, I think, like I said, I have Swift ranked the highest just because I think Pollard and Spears are the next best 2. So I'd rather just take the high end one, but Swift also has 2 guys behind him who I don't think are as good. It's all over. This one's kind of a mess, and I don't really want too many shares. I think the upside play here is Tajee Spears, though, so that's probably who I have the most shares of. We move on. Oh, I got to say his name already. Oh, the receivers in this one on the Titans, Calvin Ridley. Then DeAndre Hopkins, Treylon Burks, Tyler Boyd, Nick Westbrook-Akine, and over to the Bears, we have DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Rome Odunze, Tyler Scott, and Velus Jones. We've got some names in this one. A lot of them seem to be past their prime. I would say 4 of the 6 receivers in this one are past their prime. I would imagine DJ Moore is my highest. I might have all 3 Bears ranked higher than any Titan, but I'm not sure. What do you guys have?
That is definitely possible. DJ Moore is my wide receiver 29. We got a lot of mouths to feed over there, so all of those guys are kind of ranked all over the place this week. Who knows what the Bears are going to do? I don't know what the Bears are going to do. I think they're probably going to score a bit less than we hope in week 1. After all, Caleb is a rookie. I think it's going to take him a little time to figure it out, especially who to pass to and who his go-to guy is. That said, after him, I have Calvin at 33. I got Rome at 37. And then Keenan and D-Hop. The olds are down in the high 40s, low 50s. I think they eventually get phased out, but no clue what's going to happen in week 1. So.
Yeah, I'm in on DJ Moore this week. I expect him to be the guy. We'll see it with Rome Odunze. I think it's going to take him a little bit of time, unfortunately. So DJ Moore is my wide receiver 20. And then it is Keenan Allen, then Rome Odunze. So, yeah, it's all Bears. And then Calvin Ridley and DeAndre Hopkins a little later at 42.
Are you updating your Fantasy Pros rankings as we speak? Because while I was hosting here, I went in and I got our weekly consensus to update on the site. And I was like, yes, I can see it. All 4 of us on one screen. And then I was like, Jesse has DJ Moore as wide receiver 15. But it says you haven't updated since the 2nd. So I suspect you may be updating on the fly, correct?
Yeah, because the rankings didn't save from yesterday, so I'm trying to fix what I put in yesterday. So as we're talking, I'm trying to adjust on the fly. So
same with Jeremy. Your show from the 2nd.
I'm looking at my rankings and I'm like, oh, that's not great. I need to fix that. So yeah, this is helping me out as well.
Gotcha. We are a beacon of professionalism here, guys. All right.
I don't know how that's not professional. What's not professional is doing a podcast in 2024 and using a printout. That's not exactly professional.
Are you using a printout? Jesus Christ. Anyways, the tight ends here. We've got Chigo Okonkwo against Cole Kmet and Gerald Everett. I don't think I have any of these. Let's check in our consensus here. Our highest is Cole Kmet at 20 overall, tight end 20. Chig at 27. Everett mercifully down at 36. What do you guys think?
No. Just no. Don't do it. Don't. I got nothing to say about this. Don't do it. I'm not even going to tell you my rankings. What are they? I can't even see them on the screen. I'm scrolled down to 27. There's Gerald Everett. He's at 27. No, don't do it.
Yeah,
We have regressed back into the 1800s. We are here with parchment paper and a quill pen.
We will send it with the pigeons. They're coming your way.
I don't think we could
have. And then nobody else. I'm not starting Okonkwo. It's a split. He's splitting with Wiley. Fuck that. I don't want to play Okonkwo. I really don't even want to play freaking Komet, but I just trust the offense more. So I'm willing to throw him out if I desperately need him. But it's ugly. It could be. It's touchdown dependent for all these guys.
I think the ugliness in which we got through that segment really encapsulates what that game's going to look like. So let's just let's move on here to a game that's probably not much better. Carolina at New Orleans. We have the starting quarterbacks are Bryce Young and Captain Guy Liner, with Taysom Hill ranked as the second quarterback, listed as the second quarterback on the Saints. The highest ranked quarterback in our consensus is mercifully Derek Carr at 26, Bryce Young at 28. Good God. Ugh. Outside of Superflex, like, you're not considering starting either of these guys, right? Even in Superflex, you're probably not trying to?
No. Don't want to. Don't. Just no.
Yeah, same as those tight ends. Bryce Young's my 30th ranked quarterback. I somehow found a way to put him above Jacoby Brissett and Gardner Minshew this week. But Bryce Young in week 1 playing against the New Orleans defense, I just want no part of that. On the other side, Derek Carr should be able to do something. I just don't trust it.
All right, the running backs. We start for the Panthers. We've got Chubbard, Miles Sanders, Raheem Blackshear. The Saints have Alvin Kamara and Jamal Williams, with Kendre Miller out for this one. I'm sure my highest ranked is Kamara. By our consensus, we have Kamara at 22, even though I have him at 25. So you guys must be way higher. And that leaves me, Chubbard, down at... Ooh, I don't know. I can't even find Chubbard. Where do you guys have? Oh, I have Chubbard down at 40. Good God. We're low on him. That's because somebody has Chubbard ranked as RB 52. I think somebody needs to update the old rankings.
Where's he at? Oh, I got him at 43, but I'm well below. Like, I actually have him. So he's going to get a massive boost because he's going to be a volume guy in this game. Similar to Kamara. I view these guys similar. Chubbard is going where Aaron Jones is. He's my RB 25. Like, that's where I have Chuba Hubbard. Kamara's a little bit higher. He's RB 18. Both these guys are going to be volume dependent backs in this game. You know, the upside is with the passing down back in Kamara. But overall, like, I'm fine starting both of these guys, to tell you the truth. I don't see competition for either back. So yeah, they're going to get all they can handle.
Yep. And AK plays against the lesser defense. So he's my 17th ranked RB, Hubbard 27. So right around what Jesse's talking about. You just need to, back end RB2. You hope these guys fall into the end zone.
All right, the wide receivers. We have Deontay Johnson, Adam Thielen, Jonathan Mingo, and Xavier Legette on the Panthers. The Saints boast Chris Olave, Rashid Shaheed, A.T. Perry, and Bub Means. My highest is almost certainly Chris Olave. By our consensus, that is. We have Olave at 19. I have him all the way up at 14, but it looks like I'm the high guy. Deontay Johnson is my next highest. I have him at 24. Looks like we all have him about 24, 28. What do you guys have here?
I have very little faith in the Panthers secondary, even though J.C. Horn is apparently healthy. Jordan Fuller joins the team. I still think Chris Olave is going to eat. He's my wide receiver 14. Outside of that, we know we've been hyping up Deontay Johnson on this podcast since January. He's been the steal of the offseason. But against New Orleans Saints, I think they figure it out. They always manage to have kind of a top, 10 defensive unit. They still have the pieces there. Demario Davis doesn't age. So he's my wide receiver 25. I just think it's going to be a tough one for Carolina in week 1.
Yeah, entirely could be. I have Olave at 14 just because the volume he's going to get. I have Deontay at 21 because Deontay also is going to get a ton of volume. And I got to scroll down a while to find Shaheed, who should be in my 40s, but he's in the 60s, so I got to bump him up. He should be my wide receiver 45 is where I have Shaheed because I like his potential in the offense against Carolina. because there are some issues there. So like I don't mind throwing a flex play on Sheed this game.
Yep.
The tight ends are a bit of a mess here. Jatavian Sanders, Tommy Tremble, Ian Thomas for the Panthers, Juwan Johnson, Foster Moreau, Dallin Holker. I think my highest is Juwan Johnson because I've moved him up a bit recently. I don't imagine any of these are in our top 4. Okay. Juwan Johnson is our consensus 21. Jatavian Sanders is 30. What do you guys got?
Where's Taysom Hill?
Yeah, who cares?
Oh, Taysom Hill. I don't ever include
number 9. Number 9 for me. Taysom.
Let's ride, baby. Let's ride.
Where is he in our consensus?
I need him.
I'm trying to find him in our consensus. Oh, he's 13 in our consensus. Fuck. Good Lord.
Okay,
so he's 13 in our consensus, and it hasn't updated because it has him as 11 for Jeremy. So, or 13 for Jeremy. Yeah. So he's probably going up even higher. Good Lord, what are we doing?
You betcha. We love it. They've talked how much they're like going to feature him. He's a skeleton key of that offense. They're like, we love Taysom Hill. I'm like, all right, sorry, Juwan Johnson, you're taking a back seat. So yeah, I'm just gonna ride with Taysom Hill each and every week and live with the variance that it is because Juwan Johnson's fine, but yeah, I don't want to start a Carolina tight end. Like that just sounds awful.
Yeah, and the fantasy community hates Arthur Smith. I think we should also hate just Dennis Allen for fantasy. I don't know what he's still doing on this team. I don't know why he's still a thing. I don't know how he inherited the Taysom love from Sean Payton. Maybe it was Dennis Allen all along, but Taysom Hill lives again.
Yes.
All
right, moving on. We have Vikings and Giants. So starting quarterbacks are Sam Darnold against Daniel Jones. Woof. Daniel Jones checks in as our consensus QB 25. Sam Darnold is at 27. Does Sleeper still have Darnold's picture set to the guy from the Lego movie? Nope, they put it back. Okay, sorry.
That would be glorious.
That was the most entertaining part about Darnold last year.
Shouldn't that be Danny Jones, though?
Anyways, thoughts? What do you guys have for these two?
No thoughts. 0 thoughts.
One guy is in a system that has Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, and his KOC is his offensive play caller. I'm going to take that guy. Like, I'm going to go with Sam Darnold. The other guy, Daniel Jones, not a good passer. He only has Malik Neighbors. No, thank you. I'm not doing this. Like, I get it. He has rushing upside, but no, I don't want to play the Giants players, man. Malik Neighbors is the only – well, actually, I stand corrected. The running back, Singletary, and Malik Neighbors are the only 2 guys I really want to play in that game for them. But we'll get into it in a second.
Yeah. And the other thing we'll get into in a second is that Minnesota defense, especially the back end, is not looking good. They went out and signed Stephon Gilmore. I don't know how old that guy is, but he's starting. He should retired years ago. So the fact that he's their number 1 corner, any capable quarterback should be able to tear them up. Do the Giants have a capable quarterback? I don't know.
I'm glad you went there and I didn't have to, because that's the first thing I thought when you said any capable quarterback. I was like, but wait, they don't. Oh, okay, got you. You got that. We got that. All right, let's move on to the running backs. Minnesota has Aaron Jones and Ty Chandler. Giants have Devin Singletary, Tyrone Tracy Jr., and Eric Gray. I'm certain to have Aaron Jones ranked the highest. Let's see what our consensus has. Our consensus has Jones at RB 26. I don't even want to know where Singletary falls. I'm sure he's 34 actually. So 2-3 borderline here. I feel like I'm too low on Aaron Jones and too high on Singletary. I think Jones is still a top 15 if he stays healthy, but that could just be clinging to the Aaron Jones of past. What do you guys have?
Personally, I'm more of a Ty Chandler kind of guy, just at cost. That said, I think Aaron Jones will be fine. I just think he was being a little overdrafted. He's my running back 20 against a kind of mostly suspect Giants defense. They're fine, but nothing to write home about for sure. And there's going to be a lot of space, as Kevin O'Connell always does, creating space for all of his playmakers there. So Jones at 20, and then Singletary at 28. He's just one of the very few guys who are even there. Minnesota defense sucks, and still, I don't have a lot of faith for either of these teams scoring a ton of points.
Yeah, Singletary is the volume guy in this game. I'm betting on him. I have him at RB 17, so I'm riding with Singletary. He's going to get a ton of work. As much as I like Tyrone Tracy, like Singletary saw basically every preseason snap with his starters. Like he's basically Saquon, just the worst version of Saquon. But like he can still give you RB2 production. Jones, I'm more worried about Jones, where it's like, and by seeing like same as Saquon, I mean like he's going to get volume, not like he's Saquon talent, but he's similar.
Yes.
And then Jones, I worry more about him because he's splitting with Chandler. That worries me. It's going to be high upside, low floor. So I'll go with Singletary until it changes.
Well, there you have it from our very own fantasy football Jeff Dunham, where half the time you hear words, but he doesn't even move at all. It's like he's the world's best fantasy football ventriloquist.
If I take my hand and just put it up.
I don't know. Moving on. I'm not going there. Get us canceled. All right. The receivers here, we have the Vikings, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, Jalen Naylor, who probably won't play from the sounds of it. Against the Giants, Malik Neighbors, Wan'Dale Robinson, Darius Slayton, and Jalen Hyatt. That's a disappointing list of names there. The highest in our consensus is Jefferson at 4. Neighbors is the next highest at 19. Other than that, I don't think. Oh, I'm sure we have Addison in here ranked somewhere. I'm sure it's somewhere much, much lower. We have Addison all the way down at 44. What do you guys think there? It's basically 3 players, and really, I only want 2 of them.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, Justin Jefferson, I have as my wide receiver 3 this week. He's just Justin Jefferson. CD's got a tough matchup against Cleveland. AJ Brown against Green Bay in a foreign country. So give me Jefferson over those guys. But Neighbors is up as my wide receiver 12. I may not be high enough on him this week. I just think he's absolutely going to go off well over Marvin Harrison Jr. this week.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun show with Malik Neighbors. Like he's going to get all he can handle. Interesting for that flex spot. Ooh, I do not like a lot of those options. I'm probably playing Swift, and that tells you how I feel about the other guys.
That's what I thought. He seems the safest. I don't want Eckler. The 2 receivers seem like they could be awesome. They could be total busts. I feel like Swift has decent upside and a safest floor of the 4. I think Swift.
It's a good game script for him too. Yeah, like I just don't trust Eckler, so it's definitely Swift for me actually. Looking at those calendars.
The only other one I'm considering there is Ladd. I'm trying to see where I have him. I have him at 41. He's against Vegas. I don't know if Vegas is going to put it together, but we know the front, that Vegas front is awesome. They're going to get some pressure. They're going to stuff the run. Will they have to pass in LA? I don't know, but Swift is probably the best option.
We will get back to this game for an exciting group of tight ends. The Vikings have Johnny Munt and Josh Oliver. The Giants have Daniel Bellinger and my hometown buddy, Theo Johnson, who I actually am starting in a handful of leagues because I think he has potential here for the second target earner on the team. I mean, they're Daniel Jones targets, so it may not mean shit, but you guys discuss these 4 because I think it's going to take me an hour to scroll to find our highest ranked tight end in this matchup. Our highest no. It gets better. I found it. Our highest ranked tight end in this matchup for week 1 is TJ Hawkinson.
I have to add Johnny Munt and Josh Oliver to the list. So it's going to be Munt over Oliver for me, but neither of them. I mean, when you're talking about tight end 20 plus, you don't want any of these guys, and you don't have to because guess what? You're in a 12-team league, and you should have a top 20 tight end. Just don't do it here.
Yeah, go trade the late 3rd round pick for Taysom Hill and enjoy the roller coaster. Don't do these tight ends. What are we doing? Like at least the upside is with Bellinger if you want to do that. Or sorry, Theo Johnson, not Bellinger. See, I'm all over the place. Theo Johnson, there's upside, but like he's a rookie. We need to see it before he steps into this role. So. He's my highest ranked of those guys, but yeah, I just no.
Tell us how you really feel.
I'm moving Munt up to my tight end 38.
Okay.
Ahead of Daniel Bellinger.
I would play either of these tight ends over Swift.
Yeah. Do it.
Yes, he is.
And the flex.
I'm flexing the tight end.
Yeah, the floor is just lower with tight end, so you just have to be okay with that.
Did you see the 4 players he had? I would say the floor was pretty low to begin with. Speaking of low floors, We have the Denver Broncos at the Seattle Seahawks up next. The quarterback battle of Bo Nix against Geno Smith. I don't know. We have Geno as our 21 this week. Bo Nix as 29. What do you guys think of this one?
Defer to Jesse over here.
I don't think you can do that. I don't think that's allowed.
Oh, I mean, I can give it. I was just making sure he got his Seattle takes in first here.
You go ahead. Go ahead. You're fine.
Yeah, Geno Smith, QB 14 this week, and he's probably too low in my rankings. Geno is going to go off this week. I had an ultra bold take. I should have scaled it back a little bit, but I said earlier this week that Geno could be or will be a top 6 quarterback this season. Top 8 is probably more reasonable, but it's all set up for Geno. He starts in Denver. Jesse mentioned Patrick Surtain, so you're a little concerned about that. Otherwise, Geno is going to roll, and so are his weapons this week. Who is the other guy? The rookie, Bo, someone? Forget it. I'm out.
Okay, so this, I have an outside football issue here to resolve. This is why when they tell you to plead the fifth and remain silent, you do so. Because Jeremy tried to plead the fifth. I made him talk, and instead of lawyering up, he said Geno's going to be QB6. Now he's just incriminated himself, and he's fucked. So this is why you plead the fifth and just ask for a lawyer, people. Otherwise, you get caught on tape saying Geno's the QB6 this week.
He did.
God
not this
right
week. This year, baby. This year.
Oh,
Let's
Jesus
go.
Christ. Get this man a psychiatrist, not a lawyer.
Yes.
Jesus.
I'm going to need 5 minutes.
Jesse's over here lathering himself up in the corner. Jared, fucking Jesse. Man.
Geno!
Jesse, you're going to have to turn your camera off in a minute.
Geno!
I have Geno in the Stafford tier. He's like QB 17. I like Geno. I want to see. I wonder like how this is going to the games work out. I would not expect to see Bo Nix rush a lot in late game sort of situations. So he's right with Daniel Jones, like QB 24. I think you could pass him off in Superflex because they're going to be trailing a lot and he's a mobile quarterback. Like that's a fine way to go. But yeah, Geno for sure is the guy you want to start this week. Like the offense is just so much better around Geno than it is Bo Nix, and he's a better quarterback. So yeah, I'm going Geno.
Yeah, and don't hate Bo Nix against probably one of the worst defenses in the league in Seattle. They're trying to get better, but I don't know that it happens right away.
It's going to take some time for Seattle's defenses.
Jesus. I don't know where to go.
Geno!
Running back. Denver has a mess that includes Javonte Williams, Jaleel McLaughlin, Audric Estime, Blake Watson, Bilake Watson. And the Seahawks have Ken Walker, Zach Charbonnet, and Kenny McIntosh. I am certain the highest ranked player here is Ken Walker. He is 11 for us. It's going to be ugly it's Javonte Williams at 23. What do you guys think here?
Yep. 11 for me on KW3, 21 for Javonte. I just keep moving him up because it just seems more and more that he's going to be the guy. He's going to be the goal line guy. He seems pretty healthy. He's getting positive enough reports out of camp. The Jaleel McLaughlin hype has gone a little bit too far. I've been a part of that just in terms of drafting him maybe a little bit higher than I should have. But yeah, sure. I mean, you can flex him if you really want to. I don't really want to. But those two guys, Walker and Javonte, and Walker is going to dominate this season as well. I'm a de facto Seattle Seahawks fan because my Patriots suck. Might as well root for a team with a good offense, and all of these guys are going to crush for fantasy.
Yeah, you're significantly higher than Walker than me just because I know we've steamrolled Walker up to like astronomical proportions. I need to see him get all of that usage, particularly the passing game. Because if he doesn't have the passing game, he's Derrick Henry. Like that's how I will view him. So if he gets that passing game, I can move him up into another level. With the Broncos running backs, I want both of those guys. I want to play them a lot. They're going to lead the league in targets, the running back position. So I'm fine with Javonte like a back in RB2. Jaleel is a solid flex. Like if you need to flex Jaleel, particularly in games where they're going to trail, this is where Jaleel is going to get a lot of targets. So I'm fine with both those guys. Jaleel is my RB31. Javonte's 22. Walker's 16 for me. Like, let's roll.
If you told me that Walker was going to be Derrick Henry this season, I'm taking that. I don't care if he catches 5 passes. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me at all. The receivers here we have on Broncos. We've got Cortland Sutton, Josh Reynolds, Marvin Mims, Troy Franklin, and what's his first name here? Devon Vele, the rookie that's been on everyone's waiver wire this week. I'm not sure why.
Mark Cooper's dad.
And the Seattle Seahawks side, we have DK, Tyler Lockett, JSN, and Bobo. I think our highest is going to be DK. I'm pretty confident in that. What do you guys have here? It's DK at 19. What do you guys have?
Stop it. DK at 13. Don't sleep on this man. He stopped eating candy for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Apparently, that's what DK's diet used to be, or somebody said on a podcast. Now he's cleaned it up. He's got a new offense. Gino believes in him. That's the go-to guy. I'm so in on this offense. DK at 13. Everyone else, who cares? JSN is a flex. He's 30. I don't want to risk it this week, but I don't hate it if you have to. And then who's the other team? Denver, Cortland Sutton. I don't know, somewhere in the 40s. Don't do it.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much sums it up really well. I think to your point on DK, if y'all didn't know, the guy was like mainlining candy. Like he would go to practice to candy, get out for practice, eat more candy. Like that was his main food source. So, and somehow he looked like a Greek god. So if he actually fixes his diet, like I'm excited to see how that looks. And to answer Jamie's question, I would take the upside shot on JSN, but the floor is significantly higher with Pollard. It's just I don't know how the split's gonna work out for Pollard either. So I'll ride with JSN, but it's risky.
JSN.
It's
JSN.
You could be massively wrong. That's a bet you could be massively wrong on. You just have to be okay.
I don't think you can be massively wrong.
JSN.
Yeah.
I just hate Pollard that much, to be fair.
What he said.
Yeah. I'm going to ride the lightning, known as the Seahawks wide receivers. Let's do it.
Well, if my options are Tony Pollard, I'd rather ride the electric chair. But tight ends here, we have Greg Dulcich and Adam Troutman on the Broncos. Seattle, we have Noah Fant and AJ Barner. I don't think we have any of these guys in the top 20, which is sadly impressive. Noah Fant is tight end 23 for us. I don't think Denver Dulcich is 29. I don't want to start any of these guys. I don't want to roster any of these guys.
I have those guys flipped. Dulcich 22, Fant 29, and I think Dulcich is probably one of the hottest waiver wire ads of week 2. He's a guy that if he's available on your waiver wire and you have kind of a lower end tight end, I would pick up and stash him in the next week. Against the Seattle defense, highly possible. If not, next week he could go off as well. I just think he's got a great opportunity, and he could be a tight end 1 this season if things fall right. There's no one else there in Denver.
Yeah, I still like Greg Dulcich. Similar to Christian Watson, he's had a ton of injuries. He's got them right, supposedly, so that's what we're banking on. Hopefully he stays healthy. But there's just nobody else. Like, we're talking about Dele Vaughn, the dude that's like 80 years old as a rookie wide receiver for Denver. Like, that should tell you how bad the wide receiver room is in Denver. But Dulcich has showed out to be a good tight end in the NFL. She's got to stay healthy, so that's what we're banking on. And he has no competition. So, yeah, like him and Fant are back-to-back just because the offense is better, but I would much more likely start Dulcich. The floor is just higher with him. Like, I don't want to do the fan experience.
From 2 tight ends that are awesome to 2 even more elite tight ends, the Commanders at the Buccaneers. This one will be exciting. Let's go with the quarterbacks. We have Jaden Daniels in his first NFL start against Baker Mayfield. I'm sure we have Jaden higher. We do. QB 10, and we have Baker at QB 14. So both of them are streamable. I guess we're a little higher than consensus on Baker, and we're 1 lower than consensus on Daniels. I think this one's an easy decision for Daniels for upside. First start, it could be a bit of a risky one here. What do you guys think? Tampa's D is also a lot better.
I can't do it with Jaden Daniels in week 1. He's my QB 19. I have Baker 1 spot ahead of him. I get the rushing floor. I understand it. I could be well off on this. But with guys like Jordan Love, Dak, and Purdy at 15, 16, 17, I just can't believe that Jaden Daniels is going to have a good enough passing day to justify it. And I'm not giving him Lamar Jackson rushing stats in week 1, his first game in the NFL. So both of these guys for me, look, there's a possibility. Jamie's right. Baker could be he's got a great matchup. Washington has nothing going on defense for sure, except for the fact that Dan Quinn is their head coach, and he's going to scheme something up. But I just don't trust either of these guys, and you're kind of working on faith if you're playing either of them this week.
Yeah, I'm actually, that's where I have Baker. He's QB 15, I think I'm going to check. But yeah, like the matchup is incredible for them in week 1. Like Washington secondary is atrocious. So by the way, if you're starting quarterbacks, you can stream quarterbacks against Washington and you will have very good success this year if you need to go that route. And yeah, Jaden Daniels is my QB8. Like I'm fully bought in. The floor is super high. The ceiling might not be there right away. It just really depends on what they have to do. But like in this type of game script, they can't run because the second or the interior line for the Buccaneers is one of the best spots. Like that's where their strength is. So that means they're gonna have to pass a lot. And Jaden Daniels is gonna get loose and he's gonna get some rushing for you. So I think he's an incredibly high floor and a potentially high ceiling guy this week. I like both quarterbacks in this matchup. You're muted.
You are muted, sir.
It's all right. I never say anything important anyways. But the running backs, they consist of Austin Eckler and Brian Robinson for the Commanders and Rachaad White and Bucky Irving. And I guess Sean Tucker for the Buccaneers. We guarantee that we have Rachaad White the highest, and we do. He is RB12. The rest is kind of a mess, I'm sure. It's B-Rob at 31. I don't even know. Eckler down at 36. And I'll mute myself because I was probably better off that way. What do you guys think? About the players, not about me muted. Keep it to yourself.
Yeah, B-Rob, unfortunately at 32. Like I said, I'm just not confident in Washington offense just starting off well. I like Jaden Daniels this year enough. I think he has that high floor. I like Brian Robinson enough this year. But in week 1, I'm not counting on him. So he's my RB32. And then who is the other team here? Who are we even talking about? Tampa Bay. Yeah, Rachaad White. He's going to be a volume guy. I think, there's a potential for Bucky. There's a potential for Sean Tucker. But Rachaad White's my RB16 until proven that they're going to take work away from him.
Yeah, that's where I have, because people are defaulting White into this volume role. Not necessarily think he's going to have that with Bucky Irving there. The last week's been a nonstop hype show for Bucky Irving outside of the camp. So Bucky Irving's in that really high handcuff role for me where he'll have some standalone value and he could get some rushing touchdowns alongside Rachaad White. I want to see how this shakes out. I'm definitely worried for Rachaad White moving forward. So this game's going to kind of point me in one way or the other with those guys. And on the flip side, it's a bad matchup for Brian Robinson because you want those rushing goal line touchdowns. And by the way, Tampa is a really bad matchup for that. So he's lower this week. He's like RB30. I'm going to be a lot higher than him most weeks. Eckler could get some passing down work, but I'm still have him lower than I do Brian Robinson. I think he's the running back to have in that matchup too.
McMillan.
Oh, yeah. By a lot.
Yeah, but it really, yes, but there's potential. McCaffrey's running all the routes as the wide receiver 2 for them. And if that's the case, I'm going to have him higher. I just need to see it. They're basically in the same range. So it depends if you want the wide receiver 3 in a good matchup or the wide receiver 2 potentially. I would take McMillan now, but I'll let you know after this game how I feel specifically.
Yeah. I'm just counting on talent, and Jalen McMillan is oozing it. Christian McCaffrey's brother is, I don't know. He's okay.
All right, the wide receivers here that we were just briefly talking about. The Commanders have Terry McLaurin, De'Ami Brown, Olamide Zaccheaus, Noah Brown, and Luke McCaffrey. I guess Jamison Crowder is still on this roster. The Bucs have Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Jalen McMillan, and Trey Palmer. Our highest in this one is Mike Evans at wide receiver 7. So we like Mike Evans this week. Then it's Terry McLaurin at 23, Chris Godwin at 28. We don't have anyone else ranked inside the top 50 for these guys. What do you guys have?
Yeah. Evans, my wide receiver 6, over Garrett Wilson this week against San Francisco. Evans against Washington at home. I'm all in. Godwin down at 22 just because there's no way I'm putting 2 Tampa wide receivers, way up in the wide receiver 1 range. But he could possibly go off. He's going to get the volume. And then McLaurin at 27. I just need to see it. I think it's going to be a tough week for Washington.
Yeah, I'm very much with you on that. I have Evans at 7. McLaurin, I'm a little bit lower on, but he's a back end wide receiver 2. He's wide receiver 25. And then McLaurin's the one I want to see the most of and how his usage is. But I do worry about the Cliff Kingsbury effect and just putting him on one side of the field, not moving around, not motioning him. So he's wide receiver 31. It looks like right next to Xavier Worthy. I would probably just roll with Worthy over him just because of the upside that Worthy presents. But yeah, he's going to get at least targets. So it should be interesting to see.
All right, let's close out this one with the tight ends. Washington has Ben Sinnott and Zach Ertz, who will ruin yet another promising young tight end for at least a half a season. Tampa has Cade Otton, who is our highest ranked tight end in this matchup at tight end 19. We have Ertz at 22 and Sinnott down at 32 because I'm expecting Ertz to just be a big pain in the ass for 4 or 5 games. How about you guys?
Exactly the same. I have Ertz at 21 and Otten at 24, but who cares? Like, don't do it. Just stay away. Sinnott's going to take a month, 2 months, might take the whole season. He's good. The talents look good. We love him here. It's going to take some time.
Yeah. I would start Ertz if I'm starting any one of these tight ends. Otten just runs routes, man. Like, he doesn't earn targets. He just run routes. That's what he does. His usage is absurd. He just isn't that good. So it's kind of like, what are you going to do with that? I don't know. I don't ever want to start it. Yeah. And just, you can stash it out in the Dynasty leagues and stuff. It'll come. It's just going to take a little time. But Ertz is going to be a pain in the butt.
All right. Let's get to our 2 most exciting games, I think, on the slate. We have the Sunday nighter. It's a rematch of the playoffs last year, Rams at Lions. So we have the 2 quarterbacks who were traded for each other, Matt Stafford and Jared Goff. I think Goff is our highest. He's at 12. Stafford is at 17. I think they're both high-end QB2s here. What do you guys think?
I'm higher. I have Goff as QB8 and Stafford as QB10. I think they're shooting out. They're in a dome in Detroit. The Detroit defense is much improved theoretically from last year. We'll see. I still think that the Rams and Sean McVay are going to be able to scheme their way open, especially when they're completely healthy. And Detroit, of course, has those young corners. So we'll see how they're all integrated into the offense. And I'm not sold on their linebacking core either. Their pass rush obviously is great. So we'll see how it all comes together. I know that the Rams are missing their starting tackle. So that could be an issue for this game for Stafford, but they're going to figure it out. They'll screen, they'll quick release. So both of these guys are back in QB1s for me this week.
Yeah, I kind of want to see the pass rush for the Lions. Outside of Hutchinson, they don't really have much. So we'll see if that changes this year with the changes they made to that defense and how that helps them, because their pass defense was atrocious last year. If it does get better, which it looks like it should, but it's still Stafford in a dome. He's got 2 really good weapons. And then on the flip side, you have Jared Goff in a dome. And that's what we always love to see, because they can sling the rock in Detroit. So this would not shock me to see this be the highest scoring game of the week by far. I have him at QB 11 for Goff, QB 14 for Stafford. And I'm almost tempted to flip them just because I love the Rams offense this year. It's just, can the tackle hold up? I guess we'll see.
The running backs, we have Kyron Williams and Blake Corum on the Rams with Cody Schrader and Ronnie Rivers as the backups. Detroit has Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, Craig Reynolds, and Sion Vaki. We have some highly ranked running backs in this one, starting with Gibbs at 5, Kyron at 10, David Montgomery at 18. So we have 3 of the top 20 in this one. What are you guys thinking?
Yeah, it's Jahmyr Gibbs. I mean, David Montgomery should get what he's, what he did last season. The problem is he fell off last year when Gibbs started to come on. So at the expense of Gibbs, this offense has too many other weapons. And I think their defense is good enough where they won't have to go crazy. So I give it all to Gibbs. Monty is my RB23. You can flex him if you have to. Hope he falls in the end zone. Kyron in the middle at 19.
Yeah, it's interesting that Kyron got such pushback for doing returning when Corin's also going to be doing returning as well, and there was peanuts on that. So the way I'm looking at it is, like, even if Kyron takes a step back, he's still going to be volume back. They're back to back. They're 4 and 5 in my rankings. Like Gibbs, Kyron, like I'm fine with Kyron. I'm not too worried about him. Monty, he's back in RB2. He's like my RB23. I'm just always a little bit lower on Monty because if Gibbs gets that usage, it hurts Monty a little bit more. So I think he's a little bit lower floor than we want to say, but in this matchup with as many points as there is, like, he can fall into the end zone. So that's why I'm there.
Kyron scares me in this matchup alone more than anything. The Lions allowed more than 44 yards rushing like one time last year. They just don't give up rushing yards. So that one worries me, especially with all the uncertainty. I get it. It's probably still the Kyron show, but we've got Corum. We've got the punt return bullshit. We've got healthy Cooper Kupp. I think Stafford and Goff are going to want to air this out to prove, to one-up each other. I've been projecting this one as an aerial freaking 400-yard passing versus 400-yard passing. I don't think the Rams are going to be able to run the ball on Detroit. So that's just me. I don't have Kyron very high this time, or this week at least. Receivers, we have the Rams with Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp, Demarcus Robinson, and Tutu Atwell. The Lions have Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamison Williams, and Khalif Raymond. Our highest ranked is St. Brown at 3, Puka Nacua at 12. Cooper Kupp is way too low unless I missed them. Oh no, Cooper Kupp's at 9. That's why. So we have as a consensus Kupp over Nacua. I don't hate that. I don't hate it. What do you guys think?
Yep. Same. Kupp over Nacua. I just think it's pretty clear. Amon-Ra is obviously the guy you want here. You can flex Kupp or Nacua. I mean, put them in your wide receiver spot. It doesn't matter. But they're on Monday night. So flex these guys instead. Both of them are startable.
Yeah, sure. I've firmly been in the Puka camp the entire offseason. I'm still not going to change it yet. But yeah, I'm in on Kupp. Like I can't talk. ASRB's top 3, Puka's top 9, and then Kupp's my wide receiver, like mid wide receiver choice, like wide receiver 16. Outside of that, you can throw a shot on Demarcus Robinson if you really want to go that route, or Jamison Williams if you want to in this game, if you really want to catch some fireworks. But those are the main 3 guys you want to start.
Zay Flowers, the answer to this one? Sorry.
In this match, I'd play Zay against that. It's because Amari, they're playing Dallas, and I'm a little worried about Amari as compared to Zay, so I'm gonna go Zay. But they're close in rankings.
Just wondering where I have Amari. I have Amari ahead by 1, 18, Zay 19. Pick your poison. Zay plays on Friday if that matters, or Thursday night tonight. So at least you see what he does earlier on. About Demarcus Robinson, he's another guy I'm grabbing and stashing. If you have to play him, you can. But ideally, you just have him and stash him. If he goes off, then potentially have a flex option for the whole season.
Tight ends, we've got Colby Parkinson against Sam Laporta. Who do you think we have ranked higher? It's Sam Laporta. He's only at tight end 2. Tight end 2. Okay, so we have him pretty low. He's tight end 2. Colby Parkinson is close behind at tight end 27. It's not really close.
Yes.
Sparkling commentary as always. Moving on to our next game.
I mean, you can go Parkinson if you really want to. Like he's running all the routes. Like I'm fine with Parkinson. He's my 23. He's fine.
All right, let's finish off with the Monday Nighter, the Jets at 49ers. We have a QB matchup of Aaron Rodgers against Brock Purdy. Purdy is our QB. That's low. We have these both low. They're back-to-back at 19 and 20. I guess this is a terrible matchup for both, and that's why, but we all really factored in this matchup, eh? I get these are probably the 2 best defenses in the league, but I expected more like 14 and 15. 19 and 20 is pretty low. It's spicy.
Yeah, it'll be a slugfest, I think, plus 2 of the best running games in the league, 2 of the best running backs in the league as well. So, yeah, I'm not banking on much in the passing game for either of these 2 teams this week.
Yeah, I'm much more worried about Rodgers than I am Purdy. I think Purdy's like the fine floor guy if you want to go that route. I'll have him a few spots above just because of the offensive situation. I do wonder with all the uncertainty in San Francisco if they come out flat because they have had some serious chaos this entire offseason. Trent Williams finally gets brought back in. Debo gets his contract. Brandon Ayuk gets his stuff done. Kittle gets reached. Like it took them a while to figure it out. It looks like they all figured it out. I just think they might start out slow in this game because the Jets are going to be absolutely motivated because last season was a disaster for them. So they're going to absolutely bring it in this game. But yeah, they're so interdependent. Yeah.
You know how chaotic their offseason was? They had a receiver get shot last week, and you didn't even think to mention that. That's how bad it's been.
That's what I'm saying.
It's true.
Yeah. I just need to see it from Rodgers before I'm confident starting him. So a similar to Cousin, that's why he's lower. But if he looks good against the 49ers, that'll be a massive way to bump him up the rankings because then we'll be like, oh, it's Rodgers.
On to the running backs, 2 of the best. We have Breece Hall backed up by Braylon Allen and Isaiah Davis. I guess you want to say is the Abanaconda there too. The Niners have Christian McCaffrey and the hottest waiver wire out of the week, Jordan Mason. I seen a Scott Fishbowl league where he went for $68 on the waiver wire. That's batshit crazy considering McCaffrey's still playing. But McCaffrey is our consensus 1. Brees is our consensus 2. They're both pretty good. I don't know what else we can say there. If you have them, you're fucking starting them every week.
Yep. I'm low man. I have McCaffrey 2, Brees 3. But,
Jesus Christ. Who's your
one? Bitch. What's going on here?
Bijan.
Yeah, the one thing with Brees and Bijan is like we're projecting a little bit for them to match McCaffrey, but they're like the 2 guys that can. But if McCaffrey is who he was, and there is some signal from Shanahan, he might see less work. Talked about early in the offseason, like they might limit him a little bit, but he's still so far above everyone else. Like it's really hard to put anyone above McCaffrey each and every week just because he's that good of a player.
Wide receivers on the Jets, we have Garrett Wilson, Mike Williams, Malachi Corley, Alan Lazard, Xavier Gibson. The 49ers have Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, Ricky Pearsall, who I assume has been declared out, expected to play this season. Yes, thank you. That's not very helpful, but he's on the NFI list. Okay, so that's good. Juwan Jennings, Jacob Cowing, Ronnie Bell. The highest one we have in this for our consensus, Garrett Wilson is at 5, and in this matchup, I hate that we have him there. You guys must have him sky high because there's no way I have him at 5. We have Deebo at 17. Ayuk is at 26. So, I don't know. Garrett Wilson, that's real high.
Yeah. Garrett Wilson, my wide receiver 7. I don't like him that low. But at San Francisco, I mean, look, he's necessary. That's the thing, right? We're not going to see a ton, but of passes from Rodgers, but when we do see them, most of them are going to go towards Garrett Wilson. If San Francisco's smart, and they are, they're going to double the hell out of him. I just think Wilson is an extreme talent. They're going to find ways to work him open. Does he get in the end zone? We'll see. But I'm banking on that at wide receiver 7 this week. Otherwise, Deebo and Ayuk for me, in the lower end of the wide receiver 2 ranks. Again, I just think it's a Christian McCaffrey, perhaps a George Kittle game as well, as they kind of do their best against the best defense in the league, the New York Jets.
Yeah, that's the thing with this matchup. If a team has really good corners, like I'm going to push Deebo up higher because it's going to be the zone beating thing. So this is a Deebo week. If I'm going between him and Ayuk, it'll shift between the 2 of them each and every week. That's the San Francisco thing. But yeah, I have Wilson at wide receiver 9. So I'm curious who has what. If he's our consensus 5, someone has him incredibly high because Jeremy said he had 7. I have him 9. I don't know. Somebody has him like top 2, which is okay.
SC must have him at 1 or something. I don't know.
SC.
So let's close it out with the tight ends. We have George Kittle as our consensus 5, Ty Conklin as 19 overall. I'm starting Kittle everywhere, every game. I don't mind Conklin as a streamer. I don't love him as a streamer in this matchup, but that is what it is. Any disagreements there?
Nope. That's what it is. You can flex him if you really want to. Like, I mean, it's not flex him. Jesus, you could stream him. I don't want to flex Conklin because that would be a disaster.
Yeah, don't. Yeah. George Kittle, Aaron, you are notoriously high. You're also notoriously high on George Kittle. I have him at tight end 8, but yeah, it's fine. I mean, he catches the touchdown, he catches 3. Who knows what's going to happen with Kittle? So why not?
All right, that concludes AFC and NFC previews. Next time we are on the air, there will be actual football to talk about. What do we got on tap, guys? Jesse, when does your show air? Did you do Tuesday night? Your Tuesdays, right?
It's been a disaster with technology for me this week. I recorded it. It will come out sometime this week. Tell. I apologize to you. I'm just going to do it again. I don't know. I guess we're going to have to do.
That means SC will be live doing some Devi. I think he's going live. Devi tomorrow night on Friday. I am back on Saturday doing some fringe stuff with kickers, DSTs, IDP, all sorts of fun stuff like that. Thank you for joining us as always, Jamie. And then Sunday, we will be back live at noon for our first Sit Start live show of the year. Enjoy the first game of the season. Pretty much everyone who beats KC in the first week ends up in the Super Bowl the championship game. The Lions didn't make the Super Bowl. I had the Lions cashed in there and they lost. They shit the bed in the second half. But should be a good one. Everyone enjoy. We will see you again this weekend. Take care and thank you all for tuning in.